watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald enters his second season in Seattle, and he has already made a substantial change. We'll tell you what that is and more coming up here on today's program. Before we do, folks, I got a challenge for you. Can we set our comment record for the month of July? The most comments we've had on a single video is 450. But we here at Seahawks Today, we're always trying to get better each and every day, taking a one-day-at-a-time mentality. And I want to put this out there. I want the 12's voices to be heard loud and clear. Spam S in the comments. Let's get up to 500 and set our record for the month and keep up our momentum for the month of July, and we'll get started with today's show. Mike Macdonald has already made a substantial change for the 2025 season. And I'll tell you this much before we tell you what it is. This is a big deal, but it's probably not what you're thinking. It's something in particular that's going on in practice. Gregg Bell of the Tacoma News-Tribune, he was on the HawksZone Rundown and gave this detail. Listen to this. Macdonald is just so much more assertive, and he's just so much more comfortable on the field. You see him talking with the offensive players. You see him in the offensive drills more than he did last year. Last year, he pretty much just stuck himself on defense at practices, called the defense, and never went to the offense. He left it up to Ryan Grubb, and we saw what happened in the results of that. This year, he's spending the first parts of practices, so far anyway, the offseason practices with the offense. He has delegated some of the practice play calling responsibilities to AD, the defensive coordinator, who really isn't the defensive coordinator because he doesn't call the plays during games. That's Mike Macdonald. But it seems to me he has ceded some responsibility in time at practice on defense to AD while he's been on the offensive side. So that's a tangible difference on the field that I've noticed already. I'll be honest, I really like this. And, you know, for me, whether I'm looking at football from the high school level, college, pro level, I've never been a fan of head coaches calling plays, in all honesty. I understand why a lot of them do it, but more coaches, head coaches that is, are successful when they aren't calling plays, when they tend to give things to other guys and can be more of a CEO of sorts. Now, Mike Macdonald's not going to give up the defensive play calling duties, but to me, this is a step in the right direction of being that CEO, of having his eyes on everything going on in practice. In life, good leaders, whether it be in the business world, if you're working for Deloitte, or if you're working at PetSmart, good leaders delegate. And they trust the people that they surround themselves with to put everybody in a position to succeed. And Mike Macdonald, as he's another year older now, another year on the job, he's starting to dish some things out more while keeping his eyes on everything that's happening as well. To me, that's a very good thing. Now, as far as him working more with the offense, to me, this is an intriguing thing here because Mike Macdonald, this is not a biased take. I think this is just a fact. He's one of the best defensive minds in all of football, period, at any level. And so for Mike Macdonald to go over and put more emphasis on the offense, that brings a new perspective because he can say, hey, look, I think that this defensive scheme is not going to bode well for the offense to be successful, and give that vantage point and show where things are coming from his perspective. To me, that's a very good thing. There's also a cultural shift going on as well. Not only are we seeing Mike Macdonald take on more of this CEO-type role in overseeing things, according to Gregg Bell, there are some new elements to Mike Macdonald's leadership style to how he's running things in Seattle. He's more disciplined. This is a tighter ship than what it was at this time a year ago. And I'll say this. The reports were in 2024, around July, early July, that Mike Macdonald was not putting up with any monkey business like Pete Carroll, that they were not having a loose ship, that they were taking their work very seriously, and that appears to be another step forward in that sense. And the players have responded well. It was perfect attendance at OTAs and at minicamp. There's more attention to detail as well. Football is all about the details and finding every advantage you can possibly get. Macdonald also is emphasizing a quiet intensity, leading by example. There's more focus on the goals in mind, the task at hand, and accountability. And all those things, these new elements that have been brought in, is a strong sign of his progress and where he's taking this team going forward from here. Do you believe in Mike Macdonald? Is the Seahawks' second-year man legit? Got two options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Tell me what you think in the comments section below. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today as we bring you the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day. I know it's July. It's a little slower. We're counting down to the days of training camp. But believe me, folks, we got you covered in every way imaginable here with our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, live shows 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're bringing you Q&A mailbags. We got our Madden Sims. We got you covered anyway, anyhow, folks. Look, we just had the 4th of July this weekend. We still had plenty of content even on the channel when I wasn't in the office. We still had you covered. We'll continue to have you covered here. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. You'll be glad you did. One thing that Mike Macdonald is also doing is learning from his previous mistakes as well. And one of those was how the offense was handled last year under offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. Essentially, what was going on, the setup within the organization, was Mike Macdonald was basically the coach of the defense, and Ryan Grubb was the coach of the offense. And Ryan Grubb was simply allowed to do his thing and didn't really have anybody to tell him what he was doing right and what he was doing wrong. And now that's changing, where Mike Macdonald is overlooking things of how Klint Kubiak is running this offense and getting this closer to the image that Mike Macdonald imagines for his team. This is not micromanaging. And believe me, I hate being micromanaged. I get micromanaged at this job all the time, and it annoys the hell out of me. All right, I can relate. But this is not micromanaging. This is oversight. And it's with good intentions in mind. And with Mike Mack, you think about it too. He's still a young cat. He's not going to have everything figured out. This is not a perfect science. He is still learning. He is still on the job training in year number 2. And from what we saw in that first year, what is it? You have to be young and stupid before you can be old and wise. He's only going to improve as a head coach for years to come. He's going to continue to grow. Folks, he's only 38 years old. Second youngest NFL head coach. 38. I mean, the guy could barely run for president right now. And we haven't had a 38-year-old president, so his chances probably wouldn't be that good if he were to run. Sorry, Mike. But you get the idea. He's still very young, right? I mean, like, I don't know how old his wife is, but she's still old enough to have kids at this point. You know, like, these things are going to take time. It's okay. Mike Mack, last season, 10-7 record in his first season as Seattle's head coach. First coach in franchise history to win 10 games in his debut season after coming over as the defensive coordinator of the Ravens and prior to that at the University of Michigan. I'm all in. Mike Mack, it's not going to be perfect, but there's reason to be optimistic that this team is on the right track, that Mike Macdonald is doing a good job, and that he's laying the groundwork for a great run for many years to come. Now, will this be a sophomore slump? or a sophomore skyrocket? What are we going to see from Mike Macdonald in year 2? Will the Seahawks take a step forward or a step back? Weigh in, let us know. Will Mike Macdonald have a better year this season? Type Y for yes, in for no. Tell us in the comments section below. Seahawks Nike t-shirts are on sale now for just $15.99 while supplies last at chatsports.com/SeahawksT. It's getting hot outside. You need some t-shirts. You want to be representing your Seattle Seahawks as well. Look, we're not talking about Nike gear being cheap too often, folks. You got to get these. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT. They get yours now. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. All sorts of different shapes and sizes as well for you. Go get yours today. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT. Mike Macdonald was talking not too long ago at the NFL owners' meetings about his second year and what he expects going forward from here. And I got to give the man a ton of credit. He's got some high expectations for himself and for this team going forward. And the goals are right at the top. He said this: I want to win the Super Bowl. That's the expectation, man. Every time you step on the field, your expectation is to win. When I was a high school coach, our head coach, Zarvia Smith, got the staff together in the summer, and he's like, hey, write down what you think our record is going to be this year. And guys would turn in like 8-2 or 7-3, 9-1 or whatever. And to those people, he was like, what games are we going to lose so we can just go ahead and not play those games? So if you go into this whole process not expecting to win, you're not doing it the right way. You know, as the great televangelist Oral Roberts once said, expect a miracle. You know, expectations change. You know, faces change, expectations don't. And I love the standard that they are setting here in Seattle. And Macdonald, it's two things that he's preaching to his team when it comes to these specific expectations of how they're going to meet them: toughness and staying connected. Macdonald's saying this: I think there's a lot I didn't know. I didn't know last year. There's still a lot I don't know that I don't know. It's not like I'm the expert after a year, but every time there's a new part of the year, it's not like, oh, crap, here we are. It's okay. We did it last year. This is what we learned from it. This is what we liked about it. Bing, bong, boom. Rather than just saying, this is how we want to operate. Then we kind of learned as things went along, so that'd be helpful. Mike Mack, I'm bought in. I was a fan of this hiring from day one. I like what I've seen. He's the right man for this moment, for this time, for the Seattle Seahawks organization for 2025 and beyond. I believe in him. He's saying all the right things. He's doing all the right things. It's not going to be perfect, but the groundwork is being laid, and this franchise is taking steps in the right direction from here. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. If you made it to the end of today's show, you know what that means. You're a real member of the 12s. Spam 12 in the comments section. We'll see you next time here on the channel.